On October 31st, I went to see the play Seminar, written by Teresa Rebeck at Playmaker Theater. The dynamics of the character relationships within the play were expressed through a constant and wide variety of comedy. From the classic one-liner and slapstick to a more thought-provoking type joke, the play had everything. This being said, the writing did seem to a bit second tier due to some of this frivolous comedy. It was almost overemphasized, and because of this, the play lacked a bit of emotional attachment from the audience. The play itself revolved around a writing seminar, which included 4 hopeful and promising young writers, along with their teacher, a famous novelist who now, for some reason, spends his time as an editor, teacher, and chronicler of events happening in far-off countries like Moldova and Rwanda. Some of the stories, he said, were so crazy and insane that they could have been made into a play all on their own. But the 4 members of the group are Kate, a well-educated and seemingly boring character who owns the extremely nice New York apartment where almost the entirety of the play takes place. Next is the quirky, poor, and emotion-intense Martin, Kate's friend from high school. The last 2 members are Douglas and Izzy. We don't really know how they got connected in the group, it's not explained, but they're there. Douglas is a well-educated and well-connected author who is right on the edge of being a little pompous and preppy, while Izzy is this sexual, opportunistic, deviant type character. With all their different dynamics, and then adding Leonard, the at times psychotic past his prime teacher, there's no wonder that the play is filled with constant arguments and jabs at one another. Between Dead Accounts, The Understudy, and Seminar, and many more, Teresa Beckman has without any doubt made her name in the comedic playwriting world. In the recent showing, Ray Dooley starred as Leonard, Carrie played Kate, Miles Bullock played Martin, Schuyler Mustaine played Douglas, and Allison Altman played Izzy. It was all directed by Michael Dove. The performance was not only casted very well, but it was executed exquisitely when I was there. Without this exceptional work done by the actors, the show itself definitely would have lacked the depth that it did have. Softly put, the expectations and hopes that the group members went into the seminar with were thrown away, taken to a landfill, and incinerated. In the very beginning, Kate attracts sympathy from the audience after Leonard chops her short story up like the truffula trees in the Lorax. Better yet, he did this without even reading the first full sentence. He read 6 words, got to a semicolon, stopped, and said, "This is a soul-sucking waste of words." Can you imagine that, putting your heart into a piece and it being called a soul-sucking waste of words? In a different way each time throughout the play, Leonard ruthlessly and seemingly without thought crushes each character. He describes their writing sometimes with fake compliments, but mostly with ridiculous, harsh criticism, and never leaves any sort of constructive help or advice. The great part about his descriptions of these pieces, though, were the second level of meaning that they had behind them. Each kind of acted as a new level to describe the actual character. It was an intellectually provoking system that helped give the play more meaning. Only late in the play does the audience gain the revelation that Leonard may be more than a dried-up, sex-crazed, and hateful man after all. Once he reads part of a novel that one of the students turned into him, we get an insight to the complex character that really makes up Leonard, more of his backstory. At this moment, all the built-up anger and frustration in the theater that the audience had for Leonard flushed away. Until now, it was Leonard all along who had been living in this irrelevant dream state, not the members of the group like he initially had stated. He was searching for some sort of purpose, something to give him hope. The issue was, it was as close to him as the papers in his desk, not all the way in Rwanda. Until this part, though, the authenticity and enriching feeling that I definitely feel is needed in theater and in plays fell secondary to the constant comedy.